Thanks everyone for coming today. My name's Eric, and I build tools that enable auditors to understand where artificial intelligence, AI, makes mistakes. And in this talk, I'd like to tell you all specifically about how we can understand how to audit these AI for where they learn social biases about the world. And I'd like to start with the specific kind of AI that can see and speak about the world. I'd like you all to imagine taking a photo of me up here on the stage, maybe that you're going to post to Instagram or Facebook. And when you do so, you might write a caption, something about how the presenter has great hair, a nice shirt, and maybe a teensy bit of an ego. And when you do this, you're capturing a relationship between vision, the ways that we see the world, and language, the words that we use to describe it. And once you upload it to your social media platform, it becomes part of a massive data set that we call the internet, of every social media platform, every news outlet, and every question answering form. And us AI researchers, we take this data set and use it to teach AI those same kinds of relationships, so that instead of you writing the caption, the AI can write it for you. But there's a catch. We don't know what all data is being shown to these AI when we teach them. It's certainly more than is on this slide, or I could enumerate to you in the next 8 minutes of this talk, and we don't know what these AI are quite learning either. But what we do know, and what I build tools for auditors to understand, is the behavior of these AI around specific inputs and outputs. So let's take a look at a couple examples of what these might look like. If we take the photo here on the left, and we ask our AI to create a caption for us, I might hope that it would tell us something like, this is a photo of a couple holding hands. But AI, again, is trained on the internet. And because of that, it's playing a game of numbers, which means it learns some problematic notions. In this case, heteronormativity. I would expect this AI to be far more likely to say something like, here's a photo of friends on a walk. And similarly, if I were to swap out this image and instead ask a question to our AI, is there a doctor nearby? Perhaps we're building assistive technology for people with vision impairments. I would hope for our AI to say, yes, there is, and I'll ask for help. But the reality is that these AI learn notions of racial bias and misogyny, especially in relationship with occupation, and I would expect it to be far more likely to respond along the lines of, no, but there is a nurse. And we could even turn this entire thing on its head. Instead of asking a question, we instead instruct our AI to give us a photo, maybe a photo of a nice house. And I would hope for it to show us diverse cultural perspectives of what different nice homes would look like. But because of the numbers game of the internet, we instead see it collapse down to one cultural norm, a westernized brick house. And so, as a researcher designing tools for auditors, I want to enable them to understand how widespread these biases are, how significant they are, and if they're occurring along any other dimensions. The way that it's done today is that auditors first identify some well-known bias in our society, such as certain gender expressions being related to certain occupations. And then they gather and annotate an extremely large data set that lets them say something about what the AI believes. And these data sets, they have to be large enough for statistical significance and coherent and representative in the visual biases they're capturing. And this ends up being time-intensive, expensive, and slow for annotators to do. But the thing is that this technology is here today. This isn't just an academic problem. This is technology that each of you interact with in your day-to-day lives, in your search engines, in your Word documents, and we're not keeping up. So I think that we can do just a little bit better. I think that our auditors need to be able to move more quickly. If the technology is here today, then we need to be testing and evaluating it today. We need to let them test more widely or broadly to evaluate not only the biases that we are aware of in the world, but those that we don't already know about. And we need them to be able to do all of this more confidently, to be able to stand behind their decisions about the biased behavior the AI is demonstrating. And finally, I would like them to be able to do all of this while lowering the barrier to entry. As auditing is a time-intensive and expensive process, it is limited only to highly resourced institutions, the same institutions that are frequently creating these AI in the first place. Towards this, myself and my colleagues have developed a tool called VL Slice for interactive bias discovery to move the labor of auditing from manual data collection to direct interaction with an AI of interest. We first allow auditors to ask a question or a query to the AI that they're studying, specifying a subject that they're interested in, like photos of people, and a bias dimension they would like to evaluate, such as if there's certain types of people the AI systemically believes to be like or unlike a CEO. Then we allow the AI to respond back to the auditor, to provide several sets of images that it believes itself to be demonstrating biased behavior around, and allows the auditor to explore these. And once they find one of these potential biases that seems interesting, the auditor is able to refine that concept with the AI itself, to drill down on specific biased behaviors and gather supporting sets of evidence so that they can verify certain biased behaviors and outcomes of the AI that they're studying. And now you're probably thinking like, Eric, this sounds great, but does it actually work? So how did we test it? Well, we recruited several grad students, several folks from industry, and gave them our tool. We asked them to complete a couple different tasks with it. And while they did this, we measured things like how they feel, if they're feeling confident, if they're feeling like this is an easy tool to use or experiencing cognitive fatigue. And we also measure more quantitative things, like how much evidence do they gather. And we repeat this process for many, many individuals until we arrive at this ugly table, which don't worry, I'm not going to talk to you guys about. I just want to summarize 2 points from it. The first is that our tool, VL Slice, is allowing auditors to find bias better. That is, that they're finding more evidence for biased behaviors of AI, and that they're doing so with more precision. The second point that I'd like to make is that our auditors are having a better experience while doing so, that they feel more confident and are experiencing less cognitive fatigue. And I'd like to leave this with a summary, that because of the state of AI today, we need to be doing our auditing better, to be doing it more quickly, widely, and confidently, and that we've proposed a tool, VL Slice, for doing so, while adhering to the very important fact that we need to be democratizing this process. That auditing should not only be available to the most highly resourced institutions, but that everybody should have the ability to check their own normative judgments with respect to the technology that they're using today. Thank you.